So this is probably hundreds plus video about memory manipulation. I've been quick to make videos about memory manipulation from all the obviousness. And my first video about memory manipulation was in October 2020. Creating false narrative, implanting memories that falsify. This is all they've been doing to me to try to make me identify with my current experiences. And so when they do that, I'm like, okay, let me add it to it. Let me add to this. It's been 5 years of the same stuff. Let's continue. And it's just non-stop. And I'd rather make this video now when the memory beginning of this alteration is starting, because in a few days it's going to get worse. I'm never going to have the real memories. Right now I can feel the memory itself being altered. And I could hear this ecosystem of this trash around me yelling. And they have these people they contract, right, to make you believe this false reality. And they have this fake passion. The passion and the fanaticness they have about them is to try to negate reality. And I could hear them yelling from my balcony. It's like, it's you! We're mapping it! Clowns. Trash. That do the same thing every time they manipulate my memories or falsify reality. Now, what you're seeing here, apparently, I didn't even know that was that obvious. That this technology, even in this mainstream world, that is not specific to the DoD, that people aren't aware of, that is technology called MMTs. Now, I know that what's happening to us target video is not even just what we're seeing in the public world, but it's technology that's coming from the Department of Defense. I know that. I understand that. So that means that it's way more advanced than what we can see in the mainstream. So what you're seeing here about MMTs is, I'm sure, way behind in comparison to what is being applied to us target individuals. Because what is applied to us target individuals is not just everyday, just mainstream technology. It's Defense Department technology. Which means that whatever is available in the mainstream is decades ahead of it. But even what's available in regard of memory manipulation, there is pure validation that they are already able to manipulate memories and falsify memories. I didn't know it was that obvious. I didn't know there was a whole thing called MMT, Memory Modification Technology, that is really something that they've been working on in the mainstream. I thought that this technology that was applied onto us was just specific to the Defense Department. But even in the realm of mainstream, they're there. Now, if they're able to do that in the mainstream, I can only imagine the level of superiority they in regard to defense technology. But to be validated, that even this here shows the validation. And I made my first video not knowing that this existed, not knowing that MMTs were real, just thinking this is what the technology from the defense was ahead of. Like, this is what they're doing. They can manipulate memories. I know, because my memories are being manipulated. I can start remembering like everything's being falsified already. And today, I'm just even surprised to the level of like, oh my gosh, the memory manipulation is such a like a known thing, that there is actually like development of that nature that is known in regard to the mainstream world. So when I look at that and I'm like, oh, they can do the false memories, I was like, oh my gosh, I've been saying that for so many years. I didn't even know it's real. This is the new memories they manipulate me to experience. Now, I've realized that what they do, and I said that in my first video, they falsify my memories. So today, when they manipulate me in the way they manipulate me today, they be like, you see, no, we mapped it. You felt like that when you were like this, and you felt like this in that moment there. Or this is something you felt at the time. When I say moment, they try to rewire to like me as a kid, like a young kid, like a 14 middle school kid. But they falsify memories of like any time they can to try to make me identify with this. This memory, I remember, is when I used to work for the employer who put me in this program. I used to work for that company specializing in marketing by a specific language. And this specific language is not known for the business aspect of it, but it's known for like the romantic, and it's a romantic language, right? That's not Spanish. And they asked me, hey, we want to go to this high school, talk about this language still be a language that can help in this country, even if you're not. It's not about just romantic aspect of it. You can actually make money speaking this language, right? So they invite me to speak. I was like, yeah, for sure. I'll be glad. I'll be happy to do that. I'd love to inspire people to learn something, right? So I went to this high school and presented. It was fun. It was, I love the fact that these kids were and I was trying to help these kids, teenage kids. And so it was that. It was me. So I went to this high school and presented. It was fun. It was, I love the fact that these kids were and I was trying to help these kids, teenage kids. And so it was that. It was me. I'm helping these kids to go further in life and understand that maybe this language can help them more than the. And they asked me, and this specific language is not known for the business aspect of it, but it's known for like the romantic, and it's a romantic language, right? That's not Spanish. And they asked me, hey, we want to go to this high school, talk about this language still be a language that can help in this country, even if you're not. It's not about just romantic aspect of it. You can actually make money speaking this language, right? So they invite me to speak. I was like, yeah, for sure. I'll be glad. I'll be happy to do that. I'd love to inspire people to learn something, right? So I went to this high school and presented. It was fun. It was, I love the fact that these kids were and I was trying to help these kids, teenage kids. And so it was that. It was me understanding I'm helping these kids to go further in life and understand that maybe this language can help them more than what they think. It's just you don't have to be in theater to learn this language. Like if can help you further than this. And I tell I didn't know this language could have helped me, but it did help me, and I found a job because of this language, and now I'm here because I'm. And so what they're doing now is just they're falsifying those memories. We're talking about teenage kids, and like there's some like teenage kids, and they're like, you feel like that when this kid asks you a question, and they give me false sensation of those memories. It's like, no, you feel like that. Falsify my memories. When these kids were asking me about question about this language, like what language, literally falsifying that and give me sensation, and it became to the point where they even falsified in different ways. Like not only they just give me the stimulation, but they're like, no, but you even thought, maybe you thought this way, right? You thought that if you were in high school, you would see this child like that, so it made you think of like you when you're in high school and how you perceive this kid. Just fun ways of just trying to rewire my memories, falsify in every ways. And as they do that right now, as I'm speaking, I'm literally hearing kids screaming and yelling and saying you were, and they're screaming, they're having like this like high pitch voice scream, hey! And when they do that, they stimulate me. It's like, you see, that's proof, that's you. And hearing this constructive trash by the government who wants you to identify with this falsified memory once again. I will never identify with these memories because I know it's falsified, and I will never identify with my current falsified experiences of getting sexual stimulation toward teenage kids or whatever other kids. It's so nasty. And they tell me they'll rape you and this and that. It's like, and by the way, they tell me they'll rape me once children pretend to get raped. You understand? These people will not falsify memories, right? Of course, that's what they do. In this program, you will be manipulated and altered not only in your experiences today, but in your memories, and will falsify memories. This is one of many videos I made about memory manipulation. Many, hundreds now. And as they do that, they do this noise campaign to disrupt me and disorient me, distract me in ways to stop me from thinking in this logical way. Because I'm clearly understanding they manipulate my memories. And today, what happened is I'm currently employed by this no employee who employed me after I've been manipulated. And maybe, I think earlier this year or late last year, they had this thing where they had kids coming from high school where I was supposed, like, they wanted me to talk about marketing. I was like, nope, I won't do that because I know what's happening today. Today, what will happen is you will falsify my experiences. And it's like, no, I'm busy, I'm good. No, thank you. I know what you're trying to do. I will not do that. I'm busy, even though I wasn't. Why did I say that? Because I know what will happen is they will stimulate me. And they did. I didn't know these kids actually would come in the office, but they did. And I was like, first of all, I remember coming to the office and I would see the back of the head of some people from the back of the head and they're stimulating me. I was like, what the hell's going on here? What? And I'm start putting things together, like, what's going on here? This extreme sexual stimulation I'm having, why are they doing that? Usually they do that to our children. Are we having kids coming in? Like, what's happening here? And then I realized it must be something happening with kids coming in because I walked by and there was like two individuals coming, and one was a boy, a guy who looked really young, almost like high schooly, and they started sexual stimulating me toward him. I was like, oh, at first I was like, why would they do that toward a guy here? Usually they don't do that. They've done it before, but it's usually not what they do. And I realized, oh, this high school thing is today. That's why they sexually stimulating me. And they will stimulate me every time. Boys, girls, whatever, even the teachers. To kind of mix it up a little bit. And teachers who are guys, by the way. And I was like, this is what's happening. And like, yeah, you see, that's proof. I was like, well, you're just doing the things you've been doing to me since August 19, 2019. That's why I didn't want to go to this teaching or this like high school, like presenting about marketing. Never. I will never do that. What? I know what you're going to do that to me. I know what you're going to do to me. You're going to make me have sexual stimulation and act like you're protecting teenagers. You piece of shit. And now you're falsifying my memories. That's why I would say no now. If I was not being manipulated, of course I would be like presenting. I would love to like inspire people, regardless of who they are. Inspire teenage kids, of course I would love to do that. But this is not happening now because I know what you guys are going to do. You're going to manipulate me in these ways and act like you're protecting teenage kids. And now you manipulate my memories when I was normal, when I was me. And falsify my memories, putting stimulation and sensation that weren't there when I was there. Talking about this language that they could learn and still get money from that. And they are falsifying my memories in different factions. In one way, they're just falsifying it, like when this kid is asking a question about this language, sexual stimulation applied into that, not real. And then even creating memories like where you saw this blonde kid and teenage kid, and like maybe like you thought if you were a kid too, like then you'll see her in this way. Try to play in my brain. It's like, no, falsify, not real. Another manipulated memory where you're editing reality. Talking visual, you gotta be strong. They are modifying your memories to make it appear like what you experienced today is what did you experience before. And they have these clowns around you making all this disorienting noise campaign to try to disorient you and make you identify with this and manipulate you while they're doing that. Taking visual, stay strong and understand that they are altering you from your memories and your current experiences as always. See this trash for the clowns that they are. I will never, ever identify with it. I'll run to torture because I know this trash are wanting you to identify with this. Torturers are going to be applied in this case to make you identify to this thing. This trash are the low life who are a threat to children. I was in the office where they had this kid come in saying the name of man who was raping 14-year-old kids, and you should see how they're behaving. These clowns. I'll put that in their faces. They will not live this deluded reality. Stay strong, target individual, and do not identify with this. And just to wrap up this, I had to add this. By the way, to make me accept these false memories. What they're doing, and then try to find things that they use to validate this manipulation today. For example, I keep bringing that up. In 2014, I followed somebody who I thought was an adult on social media. I never talked to her. You know, the story about Ocean, you hear that a lot. Even when they falsify these memories, they're like, no, but you see, you're attracted. Remember, you follow Ocean on Snapchat. Or you use it like a Snapchat. Attracted. To try to falsify, it's like, no, I follow this person, think she was an adult about my age. In her 20s at least. Or a young adult. You're falsifying memories. And now utilizing whatever you can to make me identify with these memories. And they tell me you're going to be castrated. It's like I can cut my own private part. These perps think that torture will make me identify with this. I will never identify with these current experiences. I will never identify to the false memories that you're falsifying. And torture will not make you will not make me identify with this. I can do that to myself. This trash are low life. And I'm glad I'm able to put that in their faces. They falsify memories every day of all sorts. And then try to make me identify with this. Using whatever they can to box in these false memories. And on top of the torture that they tell me I'm going to experience, I'd rather experience this torture every day of my life than let this low life live their fantasy. Talking with Joe, like I said. Death comes to all of us. Even suffering in this thing is honorable. I want to put the reality in their faces. I will never let this trash live their fantasy. They are rewiring me, altering my memories, and falsify who I am as a human being, and then try to use these tortures as ways to make me identify with this. The fear will not make me identify with this. The sufferings will not make me identify with this. I will suffer and be fearful, but I will never identify with this manipulation. Stay strong. The people who are pedophiles and lowlifes is this trash. And you see me in the office where they had these people, these teenagers, come in. These high school kids. And I said the name of Roy Moore, a man who allegedly was raping 14-year-old kid. And you don't see that because I blurred the pictures. But you see them being scared to say that name of a man who allegedly was raping 14-year-old kids. So I can just stay strong and don't identify with the clear manipulations of not only what you experience today or whatever memories they falsify. Memory manipulation is not even something of a big deal. It's so known that today they have terminology for memory manipulation technology called MMTs. Memory modification technology, I should say. That's what it stands for. Stay strong and don't identify with this, whatever way it is. I will never even let them live that fantasized reality. And if it's the last word I say, I don't mind saying it a million times. Stay strong. Ok, Raymond. Regarde sa gueule. Ouais, il veut pleurer. Eh ouais, je sais. Ouais, ok. Ok, Raymond. Regarde sa gueule. Ouais, il veut pleurer. Eh ouais, je sais. Ouais, ok.